Hey guys, my name is Mark, and for y'all that don't know, my family and I lived in Antlers, Oklahoma on a ranch for 5 years that was frequented by a clan of Sasquatch, and the evidence on this channel is some of the stuff that we captured while we were living there. My channel name was Livewire. Started out as a company channel page where I did low voltage installations, wiring, and things of that nature, and also being a child of the 80s and a big fan of 80s rock and roll, and a fan of Motley Crue. That's where the Livewire name come from. And since the channel was created before I became aware of Sasquatch, I just left the name the same, and it kind of stuck, and that has become the nickname for myself with people, and that's just the history of the channel and how it became known to be Livewire, but not necessarily a Bigfoot related channel in the beginning. Well, there's been a lot of recent comments on videos, particularly of the ones that shoots over the pasture that shows the figures behind the leaning tree. The keyboard warriors and stuff like to sit around on their computers and look at my videos and look at me like I'm crazy and saying they can't see shit. Well, those folks to me like to be spoon-fed. They don't like to put forth the effort to feed themselves, I like to say, or put any kind of effort into actually reading the comments or reading, any of the description and stuff that a lot of times has links to the original files in the description or in the comments. So I'm going to take the time out today and point out to me what is the obvious. And unfortunately for my longtime subscribers, there's not anything really new inside this video that y'all haven't seen before, so y'all might want to make yourself a sandwich. For everybody else, open up. Shit's gonna get deep, so you might want to get your boots on, and let's dig into it. Now this red arrow right here is where we're going to be looking at, and we're going to zoom in real quick and zoom back out. Right there you see Captain Morgan, and that's going to be the area we're going to be focused in for the next couple of videos. Yeah, y'all notice the horse over there by the pool, and they're not always spooked away when they're around if the Sasquatch are being still. Usually when they first come to the tree line, or if they move quick or something like that, I've noticed that's when the horses race away from the tree line and usually go towards the open field part where they feel safer, and they'll usually stop. Now after the Sasquatch has been there for a little while, the horses start easing back up and they'll start grazing back into areas with the Sasquatch are still on the tree lines. And that just shows me that they've never done anything towards my horses. Now I've never noticed any kind of hair braidings or anything the horses ever being messed with before, and so you'll see in this video how they run away from the tree line, but also when they start grazing back in the area of Sasquatch. Now these are 5 videos, like I said, that were taken on December the 24th, and I put them all in order so that they play, and it might be a couple of minutes apart between one stopping and one starting, so it might appear to be jumping. That's where the next video is starting up, because the camera was set off by motion that day, and we were gone from home. And I will say this, that I don't believe that they ever would have been out this far into the open, standing in the plain sight of the tree line like they were, if my wife and I were not gone. The kids were there with my niece and nephew. They're a little bit older than my kids. They were all playing outside. My mom and my brother-in-law and my sister were sitting on the front porch watching them. But from the front porch of my parents' house, where they was, my relatives, they had no view of this pasture or the leaning tree where you see the Sasquatch. And but from that leaning tree, the Sasquatch had a clear view of the area where the kids were playing, where the playhouse is located at, and they were taking turns from this vantage point of watching the kids from the spot. If they would have stepped out any further past that leaning tree, there was a cellular game camera that was mounted on the corner post of the field shooting down that fence line, and they would have got caught on camera that day. So they were staying back behind the brush behind that tree, and was watching the children that day, and they were taking turns swapping spots. You're going to see 2 different figures that the camera caught in these 5 different videos that day, and one of them's going to have a white face, just like my son described on November 10th when all this started. When he told me, he said, "Dad, there's a bear outside, has a white face, and it was looking at me." And I asked him how it was walking. He said it was walking like me and you, Dad, and there was 2 of them. And that's what you're going to see in these videos. Now, this is a picture that I took with a regular camera from the same vantage point of where the security camera was, so I could get a clearer picture than what the security camera was able to give me. And you'll see there's nothing back there. Now, this picture here is a picture of my friend Pete that was standing behind this leaning tree on December 27th, just a few days after the security camera video was taken. This is another shot, like I said, taken from the same vantage point to the same area with Pete standing behind the same leaning tree as Captain Morgan, excuse me. Now, I took both these photographs and I made them transparent and I overlaid them, and you can see the size difference between Captain Morgan and my friend Pete by doing that. And here's a collage of the three figures. The one on the left, Mama with the white face, notice has a white stripe down its head like you hear the Florida skunk ape. That's the reason that they call it the skunk ape, is because of the white stripe, not because of the smell. So it goes. And then the middle one's Captain Morgan. The one on the far right was taken on January 19th. There was 5 videos taken around the same time of day, between 10 and 10:30, when the kids were being gone to Arkansas for 2 weeks. If you remember from the Bigfoot Odyssey Documentary, I talk about I took my kids to Arkansas. They were gone to Arkansas for a few weeks. The activity quit, so we brought the kids back. January 19th, the figure on the far right was back out behind the leaning tree waiting on the kids to come outside, and was caught in 5 security videos that day. So that's 3 different figures. Now, I know they're blurry. They're blob squatches. You know, slow internet out in the country and the distance that they were away. The camera was high definition, 720p RLO camera. But being the distance that they are away, you know, it's just blurry, but it's undeniable. 3 different figures, not the same, taken around the same time of day. So you can't blame shadows and stuff. The one with the white face, just like what my son described. If you look on my Facebook, you'll see the original post on November 10th where I shared what my son told me. Lines up exactly with what that picture is that was taken on December 24th. Well, I hope that explains some of those pasture videos. We're going to move on to a subject of UFO that's happened around the same time that wasn't shared in the documentary. Here's a little snapshot of something round, dish shaped to the right of that tree over the pasture. This was taken before the playhouse was there, before we was aware of Sasquatch. I figured a lot of people hadn't seen that, so I figured I'd put that in here. I'm not saying the upcoming video we're going to talk about is the one that has the light anomaly that showed up on Christmas Day. About 4:56 a.m. To me, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. If it ain't aliens, it's the government. I don't know which one's scarier, but we're going to look at this video next. A lot of people have commented that this is a car or something going by. This is not a car light. My camera has microphones on it. You will not hear any audio. It comes in from the upper corner and stops right outside the frame of the camera, of course, but you see the light's coming down, and when light leaves, it leaves like it's left vertical by the way the light dissipates. Some people said, well, it's the infrared lights on the camera causing a glare. The infrared lights were not turned on these cameras. If you watch a lot of my videos, you'll notice the infrared lights are turned off on my cameras in almost all my videos. That's how Sasquatch know where the cameras are, I believe, and that's how I've caught the stuff that I've caught, by having the infrared lights turned off. Plus, this camera being located where the outside security light is that you see on the left-hand side of the screen, there's no need to have the infrared lights on. So it's not glare from infrared lights or nothing like that. Something comes down, causes a glare on the lens of the camera because it was a different light source. It made no sound. It stayed around for a second, but one of the things I want you to notice is that when this thing leaves, it gets the brightest right before it appears to leave vertical, like it's exerting energy to leave, and the way the light dissipates, it left like it was going straight up. I looked around to see if there's any meteor reports that day. Nothing in the area. If it's not a UFO, then it's the government. What you're watching right now is just I threw this on the end after the light anomaly video. This is when December 1st, when I saw the shadow approach the house, and I called the police. You draw.